This meeting is, to some extent, my fault. The information that's brought us here today was uncovered by me sitting at home with a laptop on Thursday evening earlier this month. The reason I was doing this research was because I was trying to understand why the Council had been working so exclusively with this one organisation on the library project and seemingly in such secrecy. Now, I want to stress I found no evidence of any improper relationship between Cora and anyone at the Council. But I did find out fairly quickly that Cora's lead negotiator had been involved in another Enterprise Centre project in 2009 that went into liquidation owing a lot of money, and that he'd been disqualified for being a company director for 8 years. Now, you now have to decide whether to press on with the Cora project or whether to rescind the decision that this committee took on the 2nd of June. And the report in front of you quite rightly highlights the reputational risks to the Council of pressing on. I think one of the most striking things about Cambridge Central Library that's emerged during all this is the fact it's the 4th busiest library in the country, with about 850,000 visits a year, which is pretty impressive because Cambridge is only about the 50th largest city. The Central Library is really a precious asset that needs to be safeguarded in a way that people can have confidence in. Given what we know now, I do not think that people will have confidence in a project involving Cora. So for the good of the library, for the good of the Council, and the good of the people that it serves, I urge you to rescind this decision and find another way to address the very difficult budget pressures that I know you face. And I want to ask one more thing. Please, can we have a more open and transparent process this time? Because I promise you that whatever happens next is going to be subject to a level of public scrutiny that the Cora project clearly wasn't ready for.
Okay, Mr. Rodgers, thank you very much for that. Opening up for members' questions for Mr. Rodgers. Councillor Scott.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rodgers. I note that in paragraph 4 of your statement you say that the report in front of you, meaning us, quite rightly highlights the reputational risk to the Council of pressing on. But would you suggest, however, that there are risks that go way beyond the reputational and that the concentration on reputation is really misapplied because the risks relate to the fact that there are no assurance of monies whatsoever under this. It's been a movable feast as to whether it's 80,000, as to whether it's 80,000 guaranteed, and now we hear that the 200,000 is projected. And so I'm simply wondering whether you see anything beyond the reputational risk in continuing with this proposal.
Thank you for the question. It's quite a difficult question for me to answer because, unlike you on the committee, I haven't had the benefit of seeing the confidential information that you've had to base your decision on. And I think that's a great shame. I understand there are issues of commercial confidentiality and not everything can be published. But I think the more openness and transparency we can have about this process, the better, and the better understanding we'll have of how likely it is that the promised returns to the Council are actually going to materialise. So I think, yes, that is absolutely a very good issue, but one that is very difficult for members of the public such as yourself to answer.
Just to follow up, did you, in the course of your very straightforward researches, discover anything about prospective litigation or ongoing litigation in relation to this particular company?
No, I can't say that I did. As I say, it did not take a very great deal of investigation to find out, first of all, who the lead negotiator was. Secondly, that he'd been involved in a similar project back in 2009, which was covered in the Cambridge News. And third, and it was a natural question to ask, going on from that, what had happened to that project, and it didn't take very long to find out. That was helped a great deal by the open data that's now available at Companies House. Companies House have been moving all their information to pure public access, and that was absolutely vital in uncovering the information that I uncovered here.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Rodgers? I've got Councillor Hunt and then Councillor Mason.
I haven't actually got a question for you. I just want to thank you for your diligence and bringing extra information to our bringing extra information to us, and I thank you for it.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor.
Well, thanks very much. And conversely, I'd like to thank you for taking the very difficult decisions that you're going to have to take about the library services.
Okay. Councillor Mason.
You say in your opening paragraph that you did this by means of a laptop sitting at home. Would the conclusion be from that this information would have been easily obtained by our officers or by any other members of the public?
I think that may be a question that you'll need to pursue with your officers.
I think, Councillor Mason, you'll have the opportunity to ask that question in a little while.
Oh, I will do.
I'm sure you will. Any other questions for Mr. Rodgers, please? Mr. Rodgers, thank you very much for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
The third speaker is Miss Hilary Coy. Miss Coy, welcome.
Thank you.
Again, you have 3 minutes to speak, and if it gets to the end of the night, I'll simply let you know. Okay.
I am Joe Public. I live in Cambridge.
Can you switch your mic on?
Oh, my apologies.
And get quite close to it if you may.
Right.
Thank you.
Usually I can yell a whole room up like
I
that.
hope the answer.
I'm Joe Public. I live in Cambridgeshire and I care about the whole county. I vote. I've been following the saga of the Central Library with mounting concern, so I welcome this meeting in response to recent information. I shall comment on 2 items in the recommendations for consideration: revenue and reputation, as indeed does Shakespeare. Although Iago in the Othello proclaims, "Who steals my purse steals trash," revenue is central. Savings have to be made, but how is another question. Although I shall not rework arguments already made, it has to be stated that the much vaunted figure of 200,000 is projected and cannot be quoted as guaranteed. Alternatives have not been fully investigated. This was admitted, if my memory serves, by Christine May at the 2nd of June meeting in answer to a question from Councillor Mason. I'm pleased to see the recommendation to investigate other possibilities, but Joe Public is curious as to why this was not done before. We now have to look forward. There must be other ways to make the putative 200,000. The current revenue of nearly 40,000 from the meeting room is a positive indicator. It is clear that there are different avenues to explore which do not have the difficulties of the Cora scheme. Iago says further, good name in man and woman is the immediate jewel of their souls. Reputation is a vital concern to the council. Without it, members have no credibility, nor do their decisions. The actions of the officers are in the name of the elected councillors and reflect upon them. Since the meeting on the 2nd of June, we've heard that Roger Perrin is banned from holding directorships here until 2019. The transparency and confidence needed in a partner company have disappeared. Doubt has been cast on the judgment and integrity of Cora Regis and of the County Council.
You have 30 seconds.
Reservations about Cora and the process behind the negotiations had been expressed before. The latest revelation is bound to damage the Council's reputation irrevocably in the eyes of Joe Public. You still have the opportunity to make the right decision for Cambridgeshire.